Hey, good morning, Kanye. We're back, Geek Wave. Moving to Wednesdays, question mark? Maybe? I don't know. Makes more sense because new comic book day is Wednesday, so maybe I should do a live show Wednesdays, but hey, who's to say? That's just where we are. It was a big weekend in nerd culture because we had a Comic-Con, the first official San Diego Comic-Con in a while. They've all been official, I guess, but not just like at home people talking into Zooms, clearly wanting to do other stuff with their time. It's back. Dedicated people talking about Comic Con stuff. It's officially back. Just for the world to probably be shut down again this time next year, we're back to a regularly scheduled Comic Con. Isn't that nice? It's fantastic. Don't call me Chris Rock. I don't appreciate that. But we're back. It's the Comic Con, big extravaganza, so much amazing, fantastical news dropped at Comic Con this year. Was it all great? It was all fine. Look, it's been a while since we've had a Comic Con. So yeah, let's do it again. Just start it up, see where we go. There's been, I think, better cons recently than San Diego. I know because it was like COVID and stuff, we shut them down. But I really think just in terms of like reveals, the things that like people online are speculating about, DC Fandom, D23, the Investor Day stuff, those are better places for this thing. So it's kind of cool to see like, hey, Comic-Con's back for people that like comics and cosplay and stuff. That's exciting. That makes me happy. That's the stuff I'm here for. Because we actually got a little bit of comic book news to talk about, which genuinely surprises me that there is comic book news to talk about for this. And we'll get to that in a minute here because I'm kind of just going in order of the list I already talked about this on with the Geek Wave. I'm doing it again. 2 full videos talking about San Diego Comic-Con 2022. Why? Can't help myself, apparently. Just going to go back into this well until I find something to keep me going. Don't know what that's going to be. But yeah, Comic-Con, man. It's back. Will it stay? Who's to say? But we had one kind of big thing that I needed to talk about that I didn't talk about in the Geek Wave video. And that, of course, was the toy reveals. I'm a big toy collector, if you can't tell. And I wanted just to see what are they going to do for the toys that are released. What are we teasing? What are we speculating that's coming up for the big companies? I could probably do a separate video talking about them all, but I'm going to talk about a key few things that they showed that I think is really cool. The G.I. Joe classified Hiss tank. Oof, that looked sick. Can't wait to see that one. Serpentor, they showed off Serpentor. Oh, that's going to be fun. Cannot wait to see that one. Love that. Thank you for the subscription. Appreciate it there. Really great stuff. And then kind of sticking with Hasbro still, they did show off like the completed Galactus. We've kind of just seen the HasLab stuff, but there it is. There's the Galactus. And speaking of the HasLab, they did kind of reveal their big 50th anniversary Ghost Rider HasLab. And if you don't know what the HasLab is, this is the Hasbro kind of just weird thing they do. It's like, hey, if you want to get a big toy made, you can kickstart it for us. And they've tried to do Cookie Monster. Cookie Monster didn't go through. A shame that Cookie Monster didn't go through because it's a 3-foot Cookie Monster that talks to you. Shame we didn't get that. But then they did things for Marvel, and they've done things for Star Wars, and they've done things for G.I. Joe. They're doing a Ghost Rider thing for 50th anniversary of Ghost Rider, a big Ghost Rider toy. It leads me to believe it's got to be Robbie Reyes in the Charger because it can't just be another Ghost Rider vehicle, you know? Because we got a bunch of motorbikes already. You can't see it on the shelf. I have one of the ones Hasbro made. So I'm like, you got to go bigger. Which makes me think the Charger, because that'd be so cool. Like not a functioning car, that'd be fucking stupid, but like an actual like 1/12 Charger in the Ghost Rider flames, that'd be sick. So that was really cool. A lot of good NECA reveals too. I'm not going to get too much into the NECA stuff. A lot of great Ninja Turtle reveals they do. They're going straight into Image and IDW and the Last Ronin stuff, which is very exciting to see. But the one that surprised me the most, probably the biggest surprise for me from this Comic-Con, was the NECA Dinosaurs Ultimate figures. They announced the line for dinosaurs. And people who don't know, I am a massive fan of dinosaurs. It's one of my favorite sitcoms from the 90s. I love the aesthetic. I love the jokes it goes for. It's creative. It's fun. I have some of the original figures. I cannot believe they're doing it because it's just not an articulated line, which is weird that they'd actually want to like play with that. So I'm like, okay, cool, just kind of like small statues. But no, there's gonna be articulation on these things, which is kind of exciting. Just awesome, man. Earl Sinclair and Baby, they showed off. So I really hope we at least get the whole family. It's just really awesome. And then, of course, there's just other stuff, more Marvel Legends, some cool DC multiverse stuff. The Booster and Gold 2-pack looks really fun. Booster and Gold, Booster Gold, Blue and Gold 2-pack looks fun. Speeding Bullets, Superman, Batman, whatever you want to call him, that looks sick. And Mateus was like, cool, they actually made a thing that I did. That's awesome. I'm really liking it. So all the toy reveals for San Diego Comic-Con, they were really sick. There's a bunch I didn't talk about, but if you have to pick up one thing, you got to get the NECA Ultimate Dinosaurs that are coming out next year. And this is one I'm very hesitant on still because I didn't really like the Last Ronin comic, but I did pre-order the figures. The Last Ronin's going to be a line at NECA. They showed Raph, Leo, and a foot soldier, and I'm like, do I want to invest in the foot soldier and the Leo and the Raph? Do I just want the Mikey? I don't know. We'll see. But so many great toys, so many fun stuff to talk about. But we have other shit to talk about, and I have a huge list that I did for the Geek Wave. We're going to run through that again, starting with, I think, something a lot of people needed to see. The Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves trailer. Because, yeah, Dungeons & Dragons, it's getting a movie, something that we haven't done for a long time. Don't know why. It's just money on the table. You got a bunch of people that like it. Stranger Things says, look, guys, you know this. Let's do it. The 80s are popular again. The Dungeons & Dragons 80s stuff is popular again. So here's the trailer. The guys that made Game Night decided they're going to make a Dungeons & Dragons movie, and it looks pretty interesting. Does it look great? I don't know. It looks kind of fun. It's very much that MCU-ified feel where everything's just a joke over music you're familiar with actors you can pick out in a crowd doing their basic quips. Everyone's got a one-liner. Everybody's got a word to say on whatever. It's got very much like, that just happened energy to it, and that's kind of shitty. I don't like when a film does that in its trailer, because if we can make fun of it, it's not something you should put in the trailer. But it looks pretty good. Like, the CG actually looks impressive, and we'll talk about CG in a second here. The acting, yeah, it's just what I said. Jokes all around. So if you like that stuff, it's okay. There's nothing special about it. It's just like, yeah, that's fine. Chris Pine is the best Chris in Hollywood, and yeah, he's showing some good stuff here. I like him. Very fun. Michelle Rodriguez just doing what you hire her to do. Same with Justice Smith. Like, they are here for a reason. Do what you want with them. Hugh Grant will cease to amaze me. I'm just like, why did he sign up for this? Is this like, did he lose the role of Dr. Fate to Pierce Brosnan? And he's like, I can do something weird too. Look what I can do. This weird story. And by the way, if you haven't seen the behind the scenes footage or just like the way he was talking about working on this film, it is insane. Somebody was just asking him a question about Dungeons and Dragons. Like, do you like D&D? He's like, yeah, I like S&M. Like, why did you say that, Hugh? We all know you're weirdo. Quit putting it into this thing that's clearly not your style. It's really weird. He's like, yeah, this was a hard scene to film, but luckily I'm a very good actor and I can do no wrong. What a weirdo. It's such a weird get. Hugh Grant for a Dungeons and Dragons film. Who would have thought? Not me. But cool. Next year, a Dungeons and Dragons film that you just know is going to launch into a franchise if it does well. The other part of that is they don't explicitly say if any of the characters are being played by somebody in a Jumanji style thing, or if we're going to cut away like the Lego movie and reveal, hey, all these characters were made by kids playing a game. I hope they don't do either of those. I would be okay more with like the Jumanji thing where it's like, I built this character and I've been playing this character since the 90s and now I am this character and I can't live up to the expectations that I built for this character. Kind of this weird idea of masculinity and what it means to be a hero in a world where you think you are heroic but you're not. Is that too like meta for a story like this, you know? I guess Jumanji already did that too, you know? Alex Wolff was like, I'm not The Rock, I'm just a scrawny kid who killed his sister in Hereditary. Yeah, Hereditary. There's a good movie. Talk about Hereditary? Yeah, we'll talk about it some other time. A24 is weird. We also got some really interesting reactions for Prey, which is the new Predator movie. Speaking, I guess, of horror in a sense there. Prey sounds like it's going to be sick. A lot of people have been praising it, saying it's like the best since the original. It's got the best looking effects. It's one of the cool stories. I'm super pumped for Prey. I think getting like a solid, quiet, contained story for Predator is way more important than world building because the character is a hunter. And when you put him in a situation where he is surrounded by other things that could hunt him on like a large scale capacity, like a big city or a bunch of military people that are not in the jungle, it's like, who cares? That's why the first Predator works so much, because it's like a bunch of macho men and how they get defeated by this one evil they can't face. And then everything else has been like, what if we go to a big city? And then what if like we get alien tech to fight them? And then what if we are on the Predator world maybe, or just some other world? The Predator movies are weird. You know, it's not weird. It's Prey. Looks pretty cool. I cannot wait to see that. And speaking of Prey, look, I cannot wait for next week because, are we going to have so much shit to talk about? The same day that Prey comes out, Sandman comes out, that huge thing we're going to talk about in a bit here, They/Them comes out, which is like the gay conversion camp thing with Kevin Bacon, which has one of the best titles of all time. I talked about how Gen V for the Boys spinoff was such a great title. They/Them for a gay conversion horror movie is such a good title too. That's awesome. Rise of the TMNT, the movie, comes out to Netflix that day as well. Another piece of nerddom just to grab onto. I know people don't really like Rise of the TMNT, but the movie looks kind of fun, so that's another thing. And there was another thing that was just announced that I can't remember, but August 5th is going to be huge. Predator, Sandman, Ninja Turtles, and Kevin Bacon. What else could you want in life? So that's going to be sick. I cannot wait for that weekend, because this weekend, what do we have? Paper Girls, I guess that's good. Super Pets, I guess that's good too. Yeah, good stuff all around. And I don't feel overwhelmed by it yet. But just wait a minute, because when we get further into August, things are going to get overwhelming. So I do kind of want to talk about Star Trek too, and I think the reveals for Star Trek are the best. Honestly, when I'm looking at the whole, yes, the NECA Dinosaurs toy is personally something I like the most, but there's one specific reveal from the Star Trek stuff at Comic-Con that really made me happy. It like honestly changed my day. I was like, what? They can do this? They can get away with it? Who's letting them get away with it? Let's get the shitty stuff out of the way. Picard Season 3, that show that people like, I guess. If you like Picard, do you honestly like it though? They're finally doing everybody from the Next Generation coming in. Should have been the show from the beginning, but I get it. You gotta show people. You gotta show your audience that people actually give a shit. Do they? I don't know. Picard's really not aimed for anybody, and anyone I know who's a major Star Trek fan or cares about this world in the slightest doesn't like the show. So I guess you're really missing the thing, because nobody is watching Star Trek that is not a massive Star Trek fan. You are not getting a wide appeal for Star Trek anymore. So yeah, here, Worf looks old. Everyone else looks old too. Okay. Like, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Old, just Logan for the entire cast of TNG. That's an idea to play with. Is it a good one? I don't know. But you're doing it, man. You're trying something there. I guess we'll see what happens, but yeah. Picard Season 3, the final one. Who gives a shit? But that's not that's not what matters. What matters is this news that Tawny Newsome and Jack Quaid, the voice actors in Star Trek Lower Decks, are going to be guest starring on an episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Not the other way around. No, you heard me right. The animated characters are going to be appearing on the live action thing, not the live action characters moving to the animated thing. I didn't think it could be done, but I guess if somebody could do it, it would be Star Trek. Jack Quaid, I love it. Put purple hair on him, send him on the ship. They're in the future, send him back. I don't give a shit. Tawny Newsome, I'm like, yes, you gotta get her in there. She's hilarious. She is crushing it on Physical right now. She's so funny. She's the Queen of England, for those who get that reference. There you go. I love this idea. Strange New Worlds is probably my favorite show of the year. I haven't seen anything that's come close to topping it yet. And just the idea like, hey, you know these people, they're famous actors now. We can just scoot on over here and put them on the thing. That's so cool. That is so cool. That's going to be really weird to see, though, because I can't imagine it. Do you think Jack's going to dye his hair purple or wear a wig? I think it's going to be a wig, but I think it's just going to be like, how do you get Boimler's hair to look like its signature insanity? It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see it. I wonder if the energy for Mariner is going to be there too, of Tanya. I know she can pull it off, but are they going to like slow it down a bit? Who's to say? But I love that news. That is so cool. I think that's the best news they could have shown. That's just fun. And honestly, like, you could just do it again, but, you know, Strange New Worlds goes animated. Makes sense. We already did time travel in the season finale. Maybe Pike heads over to the future for a bit, hangs out with that crew, and is just like, wow, this is really silly and weird. I'm not a fan. Comes back to his present timeline. Now, they filmed season 2 already. I can't remember if they confirmed if Mariner and Boimler are going to be in season 2 or if they're going to be coming for the 3rd season. I don't know if they confirmed a 3rd season, but if they aren't in season 2, I guess this would confirm there's a 3rd season coming. I also don't know how big a role Kirk is going to play in season 2, but I have a feeling he's going to be a mainstay. I also have a feeling we're going to get our Scotty in season 2. And I also got a feeling we might start losing more crew members and filling them up with Chekhov and Sulu and Bones eventually. We'll see what happens. But Strange New Worlds is the greatest show of the year, and I don't know what's going to top it. Because, let's get to this right now before we get to like the rest of the stuff that involves the bigger 2 companies. There is a lot of stuff going on right now about VFX, and I want to bring this up segueing in from Star Trek because those has the best visual effects in the game right now. There is a huge thing going on with the VFX community and a lot of allegations coming out and a lot of just like claims being released towards major studios like Marvel Studios. And now I'm not going to dwell on this too long. I just want to say this. That sucks. You know? Marvel Studios is the biggest studio in the world, and if they are treating these VFX artists so poorly, imagine what the little guy's doing that can't get things right. Like, it's just, it sucks to hear that these people that are changing the game of the Hollywood industry, that are making entertainment what it looks like today, that these people are not being treated with the dignity and respect they deserve. That really sucks. That sucks so much because you can't get by without VFX anymore. And if your people are overworked and underpaid and they're having mental breakdowns and crying and screaming every time they are given a new assignment, that sucks. And I understand how it's kind of described as like you bid on a project, and if you get that, you have to live up to the expectations of that bid. That being so, your client should be more concise. And one of the main things you're hearing is that people like Marvel and Warner Brothers, they're not being concise in what they want for the visual effects because A, they don't have directors that understand how VFX work, and B, they are always changing things the last minute and don't want you to know anything. So it makes for shoddy workmanship. And I'm like, yeah, that is fair. That is a fair argument to make. If you are putting a bid on something, you should know what you're getting in store for. And if they come to you every other day like, no, you have to change this, it doesn't work this way, you have to change that, that's not on you more than it is the person that is contracting you. That makes sense to me. And I'm on the side of the VFX people here. Like, you should unionize. And I don't want to get too much into that because I don't know how the politics of that stuff's going to work. But the VFX teams, I think you're going to get a lot more support if you do decide to strike, if you do decide to walk out on projects. I think there is going to be support there. And the thing about that is, there was like the statement that came out from the Vulture article that was like Marvel particular, and it's not just Marvel. I want to make this very clear. It's not just Marvel doing this. It's other studios that do this too. Marvel hires these directors that don't know how to work with the VFX department or like know how to set up shots that way. So things tend to look really shitty. That's not on that's kind of like a weird thing. It's like the VFX team and the director not getting along well, making a good project. But you just have to see the way that's happening, and it just makes you appreciate guys like Zack Snyder and David F. Sandberg. Because while all of this is going on, Sandberg just released this really good clip on his YouTube. Sandberg, for those of you who might not know, he is the director of Shazam and the upcoming Shazam Fury of the Gods. Sandberg released on his YouTube this video talking about the VFX stuff for the trailer for the new Shazam film. And basically, he pinpoints this one scene in the trailer where the CG and the VFX team forgot to put in the cape. So it just looks like he has a long cape. The next shot, while he's being thrown away, the cape's gone. And when he crashes down again, the cape's back on him. And he described this as, it's an easy thing to miss. So it's not something you dwell on. And chances are, if the VFX team missed this in the trailer, you probably did too. And you just see this guy understands how to set up a shot and establish a perfect communication with his VFX team. Because he's like, yeah, this looks great. I noticed we missed this thing with the cape. It wasn't just like, hey, you piece of shit, you missed the thing. It looks like crap. It's like, we missed this. Not a big deal. These aren't the final shots anyways. We're going to fix things when it comes to the theatrical release. I respect him a lot more for that. And he's a guy I always respected because he starts off on YouTube, makes some good horror films, and suddenly he's directing Shazam. I respect the hell out of David F. Sandberg for that. And just the fact that he's willing to take the time to be like, hey, this doesn't look great. We'll fix it later. But just understand these guys have done a lot to make this look good already. I appreciate the work they're putting into this. Hearing that's really cool. Hearing people talk about Zack Snyder on set when he's just like, yeah, we'll do this. He's actually in the VFX studios talking to these people. That's really exciting. It just makes you go, yeah, I don't know anybody on the Marvel level. Again, I'm not shitting on Marvel here. I don't know anyone on the Marvel level who really worked with VFX before, because Snyder and Sandberg, there's the horror element, there's the big wide spectacle element. They have that history. But did Destin, did Coogler, did Taika? Not really, I guess. And that's kind of the thing. I just wanted to bring that up because I think it's an important part of the culture where we're at, because I honestly did a video talking about this on TikTok, and I know it's weird to say, but here's my TikTok. If things don't get fixed for the VFX community and they continue this way where everybody is complaining and suddenly Hollywood standards go down for what stuff looks like in terms of quality, I won't be surprised if we have a strike like we did with the writer's strike in 2008. I won't. I think we're far from there at the moment, but it could potentially turn to that. I hope it doesn't, and I hope we can find a way to figure all this stuff out. But I really hope Marvel either puts out a statement, or I really hope things start to change behind the scenes. I hope we hear reports like, hey, Kevin came to our studio and was like, can we help you guys in any capacity? And aren't just like, boom, we just announced 5 fucking movies, baby. Get them done now. Let's go. Which, that was a little too far. I shouldn't have done the whip noise, but you get what I mean. Let's fix this problem before it becomes a bigger one. Speaking of which, a bigger problem before it becomes a bigger one is Marvel animation, baby, because oh bloody hell did people get really pissy at this thing that was announced. Spider-Man Freshman Year, the new MCU adjacent Spider-Man cartoon, where it's a young Peter Parker doing a young Peter Parker things. Well, we saw a bunch of information. Tom Holland ain't coming back, buddy. He's not doing it. Makes complete sense to me. You probably get the guy that did it in the What If episode. But you know what else? Probably not connected to the actual MCU story, because Norman Osborn's here taking over the role of Tony Stark in the thing. We got Rhino and Doc Ock and Daredevil and Doctor Strange. All these characters who aren't connected to the MCU origin of Spider-Man, they're appearing suddenly in the origin story. What? That can't happen. It could happen if we decide to tie this into No Way Home when we retconned his origin and they're like, hey, guess what? Bloop-de-bloop, doesn't matter. Everyone forgot him. Time to set up a new thing. But it doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't matter. The animation is very Steve Ditko inspired, and that's the cool part. It's just interesting, man. Like, come on. A Spider-Man cartoon inspired by the original art style of the character, with characters connected to his comic book past in the modern times. That's interesting. That's a story to play with. I think there's going to be some really cool stuff we see from that. I'm very excited for this. Not overly, I'm not like jumping out of my seat like, yes, finally, it's freshman year. But the more I've been sitting and thinking about it, the more I'm like, yeah, I've never really like connected with any Spider-Man cartoons. Again, not my character. Spider-Man is far from my character. I like other people more. In that kind of generation, I'm a Johnny Storm. Wow, I'm stuttering on words today. Johnny Storm and Bobby Drake guy. I like them. I'm an Iceman and Human Torch kid. Spider-Man just doesn't do it for me, but this looks fun. It's something to do. And that's what content can be, just something to do and make. 2024 release. And then we have What If Season 2 on the horizon, which they announced some stories for What If Season 2. Hela will get her own story if they can get Cate Blanchett back to do it. Ooh, we're cooking with fire now. That's cool. We got more Hydra Stomper versus Captain Carter stuff, which I'm like, yeah. Really pushing Captain Carter because you want us to be comfortable with having Haley Atwell in this role, so we all stop thinking about Chris Evans and we slowly move on from there, which is never going to happen for some reason, because even when Chris Evans puts it on Twitter, people still call him Captain America. Okay. Also, on the note of Chris Evans, The Gray Man came out, $200 million Netflix thing. Netflix just lost 1 million subscribers. Who actually watched it? Who knows? But enough people to get it a sequel and a spinoff. I don't understand how Netflix makes money. This is another example of like, what the hell are you doing that's working? I don't get it. Doesn't matter. Odin versus Mandarin. That's the one. Odin versus Mandarin. I'm sold. 2 old school dudes. You're not going to get Tony Leung or Anthony Hopkins back, but dude, I will watch this all day. Let me have those 2 old guys fight throughout time. I love it. Give me more of it. And whatever the holdover from the first season. Tony crashes on Sakaar. Yeah, it's whatever. It's interesting. 2023, it's coming out. I think it's going to be fun. I think they should do more cool stuff, though. It's like, I get it. What If? The biggest problem I have with What If is that they said, oh, the last episode's a big team up. Captain Carter is going to appear in a Doctor Strange movie. It matters to the MCU now. You have to watch it to get the whole picture. I'm like, shut up for a second. Can you just make a good cartoon based on the MCU without having it be this big jerk session about what you're doing there? It's like, shut up, okay? Just take it easy for a minute. So that's kind of exciting. X-Men 97. Again, much like Spider-Man, the X-Men's not really my cup of tea. I didn't even watch all of the original cartoon, but it's coming back with characters you love and characters you're going to. So cool. Magneto will be leading the team because, I don't know, again, I haven't seen the old cartoon, but my assumption is being because we killed Professor X in a movie. Is that what we're saying here? So it's going to be connected to the MCU and you have to watch it to have content. We can't do live action X-Men characters, I think, until 2025 when the rights actually expire. But we own Fox now, so what are the right issues that we're having with this? Doesn't matter. Content, always good. More content, please. Let the gravy boat overflow with content of animated stuff, because we still got more animated stuff to talk about. And they still haven't announced a Howard the Duck animated show. What is wrong with you? Just get the one Kevin Smith was going to make and connect it to the MCU. That's all you got to do. But whatever. More animated stuff to talk about. Guess what? You like that episode of The Zombies? How about a whole zombie show? That's right. Coming 2024. TVMA. Why the cartoon is the top rated thing at Marvel, I don't understand. Why is this the first thing they've officially announced that is TVMA? The cartoon zombie thing, where you can animate the blood and guts and gore to look cheap and fake. I don't understand that, but whatever. So we have a team of heroes that we're going to see fighting. We're not resetting the universe. If you saw that cartoon, you know who's alive. Here's our team of heroes. Red Guardian, Yelena, Shang-Chi, Kate, his friend, Miss Marvel, Kate Bishop, and Jimmy Woo. Jimmy Woo's the other one. Cool. All characters, they're kind of popular now in Phase 4, so makes sense to me. Here's something I want to mention this. I want to mention this because I think it's a very interesting thing. Very interesting thing that they didn't even mention once. So if you look at any kind of the media that Marvel put out, whether it's the animated stuff, the live action stuff, there has been a reference to a previous movie or a previous character in a movie for everything. Shang-Chi's in the zombie one. Icarus from Eternals is in the zombie one. Hawkeye's got a thing going on. WandaVision's got a thing going on. Loki got a second season renewed there. We talked about all of these things. Like Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel was even mentioned in the Marvel Zombies one. Okay? We mentioned everything. We mentioned every character what we've already put in a thing. Some spec of them was mentioned somewhere. Except for Moon Knight. Even in any of the animated stuff, any of the potential leaks or future movies and installments, everything we've mentioned, there was no mention of Moon Knight. Not even just as like a supporting character in like a What If episode or in a Marvel Zombies episode. There was no mention of Moon Knight anywhere to be heard. I don't understand why that would be. I'd have to imagine we can't lock down Oscar Isaac yet. I feel like we're still waiting for him to be like, oh, I'll do more of these. Yeah. What if we never see him again? I don't think that's going to happen because, come on, you can't set that up and then not do anything with it. But you could actually, and I don't think I'd hate that. I just think it's very weird that out of any of this stuff, we haven't been like, yeah, we're doing a Moon Knight episode of What If, or like Moon Knight's going to appear in this episode. Like we didn't talk about Moon Knight at all. I think that's very weird. And it's just something that I noticed. I know not a lot of people are going to notice that. Very interesting. We didn't even say like where he could appear again. And again, we didn't talk about like the writers or directors or actors that are going to be starring in any of the things we've just announced, but we'll talk about that later. Interesting stuff. Where is Moon Knight? Could Oscar not do it? I feel like he'd be willing to do the voice. You know what would be cool though? Here, I just thought of this. It would be cool if like the Odin versus Mandarin fight turned into like a large spectacle of like the gods and people of Earth feuding. So we got like Zeus and Bastet and Khonshu all siding with Odin, and we got people like the Mandarin working with other like these long-lasting people on Earth that I can't think of another one in the MCU that could exist. A Sorcerer Supreme perhaps could appear in there. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, that'd be fun. There's your Khonshu news. Just shove them in there. That can be a fun thing to explore. Let's talk briefly about the comic books before we get into like the big stuff, okay? This was a fun one that they announced. I liked this. A Gargoyles comic is going to be coming out by Dynamite. You can see other side, down there. I do got some Gargoyle stuff. Really butchered that, but whatever. Gargoyles coming back. Everything but a TV show reboot or a movie announcement. I'm just saying, if you want to play a little more high-risk stuff You know what? This could happen. They're doing Percy Jackson. They're doing Aragon. That's the name. Yeah, Aragon, which is the big dragon thing. Both of those do well on Disney Plus. Maybe we could do Gargoyles next. I think that could happen. That'd be really sweet, actually. I would literally die if they did Gargoyles because it's such a good property. It's just big gargoyles that come to life in modern day New York and they turn to stone in the day, and they got evil villains and they live on top of their big old castle on the top of a skyscraper. Like, it's sick. It's cool. Do something with it. Why Disney has not touched it, I don't understand. But this comic book's coming out, so there's some more content for you in the Gargoyles pipeline. Fun. That's cool. They also showed off The Last Ronin, The Lost Year, so we're not letting The Last Ronin train die down because the hype was so high, you know? Year-long delay for some of those books, and, you know, the hype was still there. What's filling the gaps between what people were doing in between things, you know, because it's such a good book. I don't care. What a waste. What a dumb opportunity. There was 1 million DC books announced, half of them, if not, I'm going to say 80% of them were Batman-themed. A Ghostmaker one, a Punchline one, a Batman one. There was a Gotham City one, a Renee Montoya one. They're all interesting enough. There was a Superman and a Constantine one, too. Those are cool. Like, but they're not like, you know, jumping out of my seat for, you know? It's like, yeah, okay, just more Batman content. Everyone's got a Batman pitch. I got one, too, DC. If everyone gets a Batman pitch, just let me do one. It's really weird and bad, and I just want to do it. And the new Detective Comic run starts up with Ram V. Kind of excited for. Yeah, more Batman. That's exactly what the company needs. They also showed a trailer for Batwheels, which is the preschool level thing where the cars come to life, but it's not a Cars universe where just the cars exist. Because Batman and Batgirl and Robin also exist, and they just have vehicles designed to look like them that are also sentient. Don't ask. It's happening. Speaking, I guess, of DC, this is really cool. Zack Snyder is going to be in the Teen Titans Go TV show. That's fun. I like that he's like, yeah, I'm a fan of the show. I'll do it. That's cool. That's cool. So that's the DC comics. But there was one DC comic, and I guess Image comic, that really surprised me. That I was like, they could still do this? They still have the ability to do this, eh? Todd McFarlane dusted off the old, like, I need money jacket And he went over to his buddy Greg Capullo and said, what if we just like broke comics for a month or two? Because Batman and Spawn are having another team up, an official team up between Batman and Spawn. What? I didn't think McFarlane would do that again. I really didn't expect him to be like, yeah, no, you guys can play with my toy too. Of course he's writing it, but I'm like, wow, really? They're going to let Todd touch Batman? That's insane. I love that. Todd is just a really weird guy in my opinion, but I respect what he's done for the industry and I respect the name he's built for himself. Crazy. It's crazy. He's crazy. Everything he does is crazy. I love Todd McFarlane. So a Capullo and McFarlane Batman and Spawn book, you know, the most iconic artist for both of those characters working with one of the best writers in the industry. I say best loosely, one of the longest running. Oh man, that's crazy. That's really exciting. And then Marvel had a couple smaller announcements. We officially saw what Dark Web's going to look like, which is just the clones of X-Men and Spider-Man's past. Yeah, okay. Who cares? So dumb. I don't like Marvel's like, nah, you get it. You can do whatever you want there. We don't have to spoil ya. You get what content is. You'll buy it anyways. It's Spider-Man. Shut up. Enjoy it. Yeah. What really surprised me, Marvel also had a book that really surprised me. They didn't talk a lot about it. All they said was, hey, do you remember Jonathan Hickman, the guy that literally ran our company and told the last Marvel story ever with Secret Wars? Well, we got him back. He kind of left for a minute to go over to Substack. I guess the money wasn't flowing as much as he wanted it to. By the way, what is going on with Substack? Is that still like the popular thing? Because I don't know any other like person that's like jumped ship to go there, you know? Just Tynan's the main guy working there right now because he's like the only one I think that's like still there primarily, which is weird because I think his Nice House on the Lake book's finishing up very soon. So that's cool. But yeah, Hickman's back. Cheaty's working on a book with him. That award-winning combination, Hickman and Cheaty. I'm like, yes. What do you got in store? They're making a book for Marvel that they're calling the Sandman of the Marvel Universe. And I am just like, dude, what does that mean? I can't think of anything I need to know more in my life than what this book could be. Because I love Sandman. That's such a great book. And we'll talk more about Sandman in a bit here. It's like, do you mean like you're going to do a Miracle Man? But I'm like, no, because Miracle Man's coming back in a different thing. So what's really going on there? Gaiman's finishing up his Miracle Man run. So it can't be Miracle Man. Is it the Sentry? The Sentry could kind of pose that threat. Are you doing something with Eternity? Or Death? Because Death's a character in Sandman and Death is a character in the Marvel Universe. Like doing something with those? I am just so curious because I know, you just know Hickman's like, I can create my own shit and you'll understand it. Like I created so many new characters and they're part of the zeitgeist now. You understand them. I love this idea. I don't know what it means, but I'm so nervous about it. I'm so curious about what it's going to look like. That's awesome. I'm trying to think of just like a main character that's not like one of like the big like, you know, celestial bodies like the Living Tribunal or anything that could potentially fill this role. Sleepwalker is kind of Sandman-esque, I guess. You know, that's something you could do. Maybe it's literally Flint Marko and it's just going to be Sandman and he's going to become Sandman. That's awesome, man. I can't wait to see what that's going to be. That's going to be really cool to see. I love it, man. Hickman, I know people give him shit sometimes, but Hickman knows how to tell a really good story over the course of years that satisfies. He is really good at delivering a great finale. Can't wait for that. I also can't wait to talk more about Secret Wars as the world ramps up to what that's going to be. We'll get to that in a bit here, but I think before we do that, we will talk a little bit about the DC Comics panel. There was 3 main panels at Comic-Con this year. First one was DC. And you'd think they'd come out swinging because it's Comic-Con. This is where our bread and butter lies. Not really. They're like, you want to see a Shazam trailer? Here you go. And yeah, it's a good trailer. It's very fun. It actually feels like a good emotional follow-up to Shazam, where like Billy is upset that he's getting older and doesn't know if he should be a hero. He's struggling with that side of himself. Like, am I really good at this? I'm drifting apart from my family. What is the point of my life anymore? Makes sense. He's going to be an older teenager now. That's a really good story to play with for him. And then you just got like the Daughters of Atlas, played by Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren. Like, you have our power. We want it back. That's awesome. That's genuinely awesome. So yeah, That looks cool. Rachel Zegler's in this, an actress I'm still iffy on. I think she's Atlas. Is she Atlas or someone adjacent to Atlas? Cool. I love it. But you know what I love even more? They're just a good Shazam movie. I love what they're doing with Mary Marvel. I know we're not calling her Mary Marvel anymore, but she's been great. Just seeing that actress, Grace Fulton, maybe. She's been the star to me. Like, oh, she's so fun. And she was just Mary in the first movie. She wasn't actually like the Mary Marvel. I can't wait to see what she's going to do. She's doing both roles. That's great. That's like the most screen time for a character because Asher and Zachary have to share the screen. But nah, here's Grace just completely keeping it together. That's awesome. She looks fantastic. That's going to be fun. Give me the Mary Marvel spinoff. I know we're not calling it Mary Marvel. I will refuse to call her Mary Shazam. That's stupid. She's just going to be Shazam. And that book comes out soon. I think that book comes out next week when Shaner's like, I just love Mary Marvel. Here's a book about her becoming Shazam. That's next week too, I think. Yes. More Mary Marvel, please. She's the best. She's the coolest. She's the one I like. She's the only one I like. They showed Ezra Miller in the trailer for some reason. You putting out feelers to see how people feel yet? They still don't like him. So maybe don't do that next time. For some reason, they're like, we're not doing Zack Snyder stuff, but it's like, here's Ben Affleck and Jason Momoa and Ezra Miller, you know, those people you like. Still, Cavill was apparently supposed to be there, if I'm hearing reports right. That's silly, man. I can't believe that. That's great. I would imagine they would have at least had something for Stargirl, because that starts up soon. I know they aired the first couple episodes of Harley Quinn, but like, come on. You got other stuff, like, get the Doom Patrol cast out there. Brendan Fraser's about to go on his Oscar run. Get us some Doom Patrol stuff and just have him come out and talk about, like, this relaunched me into stardom again. I'm able to work again because I took Doom Patrol. By the way, I have not seen Darren Aronofsky's The Whale yet, but from early reports that people have been saying Brendan Fraser could potentially be nominated for an Oscar. If that's the case, I'm throwing my entire support in his way. I want him to win that. I think this point in his career, with what that role's going to be for The Whale, he's earned the right for the Oscar. I don't want to get too much into The Whale. Actually, I do. I want to talk about The Whale more than I want to talk about anything else here. Let's talk about The Whale for a minute. This new Darren Aronofsky film. Brendan Fraser's in it. He plays the lead. And Sadie Sink from Stranger Things is also going to be in it, who is going to win an Oscar so soon. That girl knows how to pick projects. She's going to be phenomenal to see what she does. So here's the premise of The Whale. There's this 600-pound man played by Brendan Fraser who wants to reconnect with his high school daughter after he abandoned his family to live with his gay lover, and his gay lover has just recently passed away. Now imagine that premise, but it's Darren Aronofsky. Oh, that's going to be crazy. And if Fraser gets the nom, he better win. I know it's going to be Austin Butler's year, but come on, man. Give it to Fraser. Oh, he's great. That's sick. I saw one picture of him in like the prosthetics. I hope he wins. I really need that. I really need him to win because he's earned it. If any actor has earned their Oscar with just like the subtle performances they have given recently, he deserves his run. You know, he is this, the renaissance is coming for Fraser. He deserves his run. So that's great. Can't wait to see what that's going to be. What were you talking about? Shazam. Looks good. No Snyder stuff still maybe, I guess. Ezra Miller, boo. Black Adam? Ooh. Yeah, Black Adam. That's the only other thing that DC showed. Interesting, isn't it? That we can have The Rock just descend from the sky with smoke. And then he's like, the hierarchy is changing. I might be a hero, but we're not going to say it explicitly in the trailer because if we do, that's putting one thing into one thing. And then you might not like it if I'm actually a hero, so we can't say I'm a hero. I'm a big fan of Black Adam. I've always liked that character. I think he's really cool. He has a lot of the same vibes as another character we're going to talk about later in this video, which is Namor. He's just really cool, you know? He's really like a really fun character, like an evilish dictator who's sometimes good, sometimes bad, but he plays every side. And then it's just like, what if it was The Rock? And you're just like, I guess he looks like it. He's got the build, I guess. What if The Rock just was given really on-the-nose dialogue? I guess that's something. Like, it's the Jungle Cruise, people, so I guess. And then it's like, what if we keep ramping up the JSA but don't actually show any other footage of them? Like, I guess that's something. I'm so mixed, man. I really want this to be cool because it's Black Adam is leading a movie with Atom Smasher, Hawkman, Cyclone, and Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. And it looks so mediocre. I'm like, come on. Why can't you be special? You know? Why couldn't you have just taken the role of Shazam like you should have done in the first place, Dwayne, and we could get some real talent in here to swoop up and play Black Adam? Because we wouldn't get the movie made if it wasn't Dwayne Johnson. But I'm like, wow, this is just not cool. I don't know. Something about it just feels off. I hope it gets better. I hope it actually is a good movie, but I saw some early critic screenings and people say it's probably not going to be good. And I'm like, that's not surprising in the slightest. I just wish it was. I wish this was something special. But it's not. That's the life we live, isn't it? So that's the DC panel. Pretty shitty. Just stuff we already knew in trailers or footage we've already seen. I like David F. Sandberg. I hope he gets a lot more fun stuff to do. He should spearhead this side of stuff, you know? He should be their James Gunn in a sense. Amazing you had Gunn there and he didn't come to talk Peacemaker or Suicide Squad. That's weird too. We had one more big panel before we get to the Marvel stuff. That was The Sandman. I am so happy that they said, no, we're going to Hall H. We're The Sandman. We are the most famous graphic novel, the most acclaimed graphic novel, and now we're doing a show on Netflix. So yeah, we do deserve our place at Hall H. So the cast came out, that beautiful, sexy cast with a bunch of gorgeous looking people. Oh, I'm super excited for this. I don't get to talk about Sandman enough on this channel, mainly because the new books just don't have the same feels like the game and stuff, and I've been so hesitant about this show because, like, I've seen what they've done with Jupiter's Legacy and with Cowboy Bebop, and I hope this doesn't become that. I really hope this is Umbrella Academy, where it's like, yeah, we can get people talking on TikTok about this all day. 5 seasons. I hope that's the case, but we got some more official looks at characters. We had clips release, and I just love it. I love it, man. First off, the clip we saw with Gwendolyn Christie as Lucifer, I'll be honest, the clip didn't work for me. It took me like way too long to settle into Tom Sturridge's Morpheus because he's just so dry. And I'm like, that's the point. It took me a minute, like, oh yeah, that's the point of this guy. It took me a minute. Her Lucifer was great. That whole sequence was really interesting. I think the writing was just a little too on the nose, but I didn't hate it. I'm like, this looks really good. There's some actual flair in here. There's a couple of editing choices where it cuts to Matthew the Raven for a sequence, and I don't really like that. But I'm like, yeah, this looks good. This looks like the Sandman. I'm digging that. So I'm like, I'm mixed, but I'm like, that's really cool. I'm on board. And then they show the clip with Dream, Death, and Harry the violinist. And I said, yep, Kirby was the perfect choice for Death. I know there's people like, should it have been somebody else? I said Constance Wu originally a long time ago. Kirby was perfect. She just came in, completely knew what she was doing, sold me on everything she could do. I loved it. That sequence was beautiful. I loved it's just like we actually just gave it time to breathe, you know? We're like, this guy's dying. He has to say his prayers and he's gone. And he's just like left there. It's like, oh, I look old. What's next? And you're like, well, that's where you find out. I'm like, that's the book. That's the book. And you did it. You're doing a game and you did it, man. You made it. You made the Sandman. You did it, man. And the trailer was fantastic. The trailer was so good. Merv Pumpkinhead, man. He's in there in the Corinthian. Oh, he looks amazing. It's looking great. It's looking so good that I'm so worried that Netflix is going to be like, no one's giving it enough love in the first 48 hours. We're canceling it. Because they do that. They don't let things have time to breathe. Especially since we're making like 1 billion freaking Gray Man things. Can we sustain the Sandman too? I have 2 hopes. I hope it gets the Umbrella Academy treatment where it's like, forever. You like this, there you go. I don't know if it will though, because it might be a little too esoteric for some people. Where it's like, wait, so he's dreams, like in your dreams, and he's related to like death and desire, and it's like, what? And why is Lucifer here? And like, wait, there's a mortal plane and he was there, but it's like, it might be a little too much for some people, but I hope it's not. I really hope people can sit back and be like, yes, this is beautiful. It's art. We're watching art. The Sandman is the greatest graphic novel ever made. Now it's a TV show. Just endless content for Netflix, so I hope it's good. And if that's not the case, I hope Gaiman put in a clause like, I get the rights back. Okay? If Netflix, you cancel this, I get it back. I get to go back to Warner Brothers and HBO Max, and they're going to make it at the same price, with the same quality, with the same cast, and you can shit on it. Because it's already a DC property. Sandman, the Endless Universe, is a DC property, so put it on HBO Max. You might not have the same aesthetic if it's on HBO Max, but it's still there. I cannot believe we're doing Sandman. I'm glad it took them this long to get it because the technology can add up to it. But my main concern really is like today's audiences can't keep up with that, because I don't want to shit on Netflix. Let's say 3 types of people that have Netflix. People who do what I do for a living, people who have no other streaming service, and young people that have no other streaming service. So people like me that do this for a living, we watch everything. The only thing I'm excited for on Netflix is The Sandman. But people who only have Netflix are your everyday average ordinary person, and young people who like Umbrella Academy, Never Have I Ever, and The Girls I Loved Before, and just pumping out that kind of bullshit content, right? No offense. Those are all okay properties. But it's like, does that audience have crossover? Does the audience that is watching things like The Gray Man and Red Notice have the crossover for The Sandman to give it that extra boost? Or is it too intense? Because I know not everybody can read the book. I know people who can't read the book is like, this is weird. What is this like a is it like a poem? Like, what's going on? It's like, it's just art, and people can't get behind that. So I really hope the crossover is there for people to be like, hey, good content, let's enjoy it. But I don't know if it will be. And that's the shame. We're already running for a long time, but we still have to cover the Marvel Studios panel, which is the thing everyone's here for anyways. So 50 minutes in, I'm getting to the Marvel Studios panel. I'm not excited for any of it, really. I think it all looks like content, and that's exciting. Always just an endless cycle of content. Here's the thing I had in mind, right? They announced stuff up to 2025. That's 3 years away. And I'm like, that's 3 years away. 2025. I'm going to be like older. And I'm like, I've really spent more of my life with Marvel movies than I have without. And then I'm like, how many people older than me have spent more time without Marvel movies than they have with them? I'm like in that weird period where it's like half of my life so far has pretty much been like MCU content. A little bit more than half my life, actually, now that I think about it. But it's like, that's so weird to me. They might outlive me. We could be making Marvel movies till I'm dead. And I'm like, I hope not. I hope there's an end in sight. Because I don't want to be sitting here 10 years from now talking about Phase 12. I don't want to do that. I think that's bad. I think we should be allowed to reboot, Marvel Comics reboots every other day. Man, that's crazy. But let's go in order of the stuff they announced. So, not stuff they announced, the announced of release, okay? Let's start with this, though. Wakanda Forever, the end of Phase 4. Then boop-de-boop up until the release of Fantastic Four, which we'll get to. That's Phase 5. Fantastic Four onwards is Phase 6. 6 phases in the span of 3 years. Took them 10 years to get to Phase 3 from 2008, baby. Like, we're going fast. No time to slow down. She-Hulk is next. There's a trailer for She-Hulk. Daredevil's in it. You get it. You like it. CG, iffy. We already talked about that a little bit. Tatiana Maslany, Jamila Jamil, Ginger Rodriguez, all these beautiful women. I just love to see it, and I want to see them do more. So that's really fun. I love the energy that this show has. Not sold on everything we've seen. More Wong is always cool. You can't go wrong with some Wong in your life. So I'd love to see it. Benedict Wong just being like, I want a paycheck. I don't need to do other things. I'll just show up in everything here. Mad respect, bro. Like, do your thing, man. That's cool. So She-Hulk, that's coming next. That's very soon. I Am Groot trailer. I don't think it matters. You get it? Like, he farts a leaf. Baby bugs eat it. Cool. We got a trailer for Wakanda Forever, the new Black Panther film. And I want to say this because it's very important. Like, we get endless trailers for this shit, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, it's new stuff. Like, oh, that's a cool shot. We're like, oh man, I can't believe they're interested in that character. The trailer for Wakanda Forever, I think, is the first time, I think, ever for these things. Maybe Logan. Maybe Logan was the other one. Wakanda Forever's trailer is like the first time I can imagine where I watch a trailer and I'm like, oh, this is actually beautiful. This is actually touching. This makes me feel something. Not only is it one of the most beautiful trailers that Marvel's ever put out, this looks like what Eternals wishes it was. The score, like the remix of No Woman, No Cry, on top of Angela Bassett's beautiful delivery of like, I am the leader of the most powerful nation in the world, and I have lost my entire family. Haven't I given enough? That's awesome. And it's just powerful. And it does feel kind of weird that they're just like, here's a Chadwick Boseman like picture, and you can just like look at that and be like, yeah, we're monetizing his death. That kind of sucks, but I'm like, in universe, I'm okay with it because it's just T'Challa died. Don't explain it. Don't get into it. He's gone. And you have a beautiful score of a beautiful song, a lot of intensity going on in that, and all of these powerful women. My goodness, you know, Angela Bassett, Lupita Nyong'o, I forget her name. The new one that she was in, I May Destroy You, but she's in this now as Akina. That's kind of cool to see. Dana Guerrera's in this too. That's fun. Letitia Wright, anti-vax, no mask, no pass, you know, she's in it too. And Namoretta's in this. That's kind of fun. And Winston Duke's looking cool. Beautiful, powerful women just filling in the steps of what their king used to be. That's awesome. That's amazing. That's powerful. But because I am a sucker for a half-naked man with wings on his feet, I gotta talk about Tino Huerta as Namor. We got it. He's here. We actually see a lot of him because we see him as a baby being born. Like, oh, he's a mutant. Look at his little winged feet. That's crazy and fun. And then he's like, I'm going to lead this nation because I'm like a half-breed, blah, blah, blah. Powerful, sexy man, not wearing clothes. That's cool. I think that's awesome. The trident looks unique enough. That's fun. His aesthetic is awesome. I think I couldn't get a good look, but I do believe he's got the pointed ears, which is very exciting. We don't hear him talk. That's going to be a big draw. I think we're like how his voice is going to go. He looks awesome, badass, and powerful. The Talikins, because I don't think we're calling it Atlantis right now. The Talikins look really good. That's very fun. And we got a new Black Panther coming out. Is it Shuri? I don't think so. My standing, I might be completely wrong with this, is that it's going to be Nakia. I think it's going to be Nakia, or I think it's going to be Angela Bassett's character. I don't think it's Shuri. I think that's a red herring. But we'll see. So that's cool. More content all day, every day. Then we have that's it for this year, 2022. That's it for this year. Phase 5 starts with Quantumania, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. MODOK's in it. Doesn't look like MODOK apparently. Bill Murray's in it. That's cool, I guess. Scott Lang acts out a character. That's stupid. Cool, I guess. Whatever. Stinger's in it. Cool. Cassie Lang. Cool. Why do we recast the girl from Endgame? Because we needed a popular girl from that thing you like. Yep, that's it. And this is where I'm like, oh, we have so much TV coming out. So I should have took a picture of everything coming out, but I didn't because I just wanted to ramble on for a bit. Secret Invasion comes out, and then I think we have Guardians Volume 3. Chuck Wudianaji is going to be High Evolutionary. Of course he is. He came out in costume. Somehow that stupid costume was more exciting than Black Adam coming down. He's like, I can't wait to dissect you and see what I learn. I'm like, yeah, that's acting, man. That's not just The Rock talking. That's cool. That gets me excited. So that's very fun. So that's coming out. We saw some footage of Baby Rocket because Rocket's going to die in this one. That's just what I'm going off of. It's his story. It's the evolution of how he got here. Rocket's going to be the main character that dies. I think that's what we're going for. Could be a red herring. Maybe Gamora dies again. Who's to say? After that, we got Echo. Didn't talk about Echo at all. We got Loki Season 2. And then Ironheart. They didn't talk about those at all, but they're there. They're coming out. Don't you worry. 3 other shows to talk about. The content never ends. They didn't talk about the Marvels either. That's coming out that year too. And then we got Blade in November. So 4 movies so far. Let's see. We have Secret Invasion, Loki, Echo, Ironheart, and Agatha. So that's 5 shows, 4 movies. That's every day of your life. You'll have something every day of your life in this universe. Never escapes, can it? No, it can't. So that's 2023. Agatha, Chaos of Coven, or Coven of Chaos, will bleed into 2024, where we got Daredevil born again. That's right, folks. Daredevil is back. Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio have been putting in the hard work to get this up and running. 18 episodes for this season, which leads me to believe, why couldn't you do 18 episodes for every other one of your TV shows? Because that's how you make a TV show, not 6 episodes of an overextended piece of shit movie. Just saying, just because it's Daredevil, you're trying something. Street level heroes, you're going to see them all show up. Episode of the week, baby. Here's Jessica, here's Luke, here's Danny, here's Johnny, here's everybody. Everyone's showing up. Content forever. And ever and ever. And ever and ever. And ever and ever. Captain America New World Order. Awesome. You needed this. New Captain America thing. That's sick. Definitely on board for what that's going to be. Very cool. I like it. Was there other shows that they announced in this time period? I can't remember. I know Agatha bled over into the 2024 time. And then we got the new, Captain America. And they finally just said, Thunderbolts, it's coming out. It's going to be the last film in Phase 5. Which I'm like, really? Or was Fantastic Four the last one in Phase 5? No, I think it was the beginning of Phase 6. Really? Thunderbolts is going to end your phase? Is this like the street level phase? Is it? It's weird. But whatever. Thunderbolts, that's a cool one. I just really hope they're not like, here's every other character we have in these movies and shove them into this one. I really hope they're like, no, we have original characters here. Like Atlas is going to be here. Moonstone's here. Please give me Songbird and Mach 5. Just give me them. They're cool. Let's put them in a Thunderbolts movie. I'm perfectly fine of Zemo's Citizen V because that's a fun idea. You put Ghost on the team. Sure. Abomination. I don't care. Yelena and John Walker, that's fine. I don't really give a shit. Just put them on the team, but give me Songbird. Like, that's a cool character. I think she was supposed to be in another thing. Just put her in there, please. That's all I ask. I ask for so little from you, Marvel. Just give me Songbird. That's 2024, except it's not, because Fantastic Four also comes out in 2024 in November, kicking off the new phase. At the time of this recording, John Krasinski was on Fallon and said, like, that's why I did Fantastic Four. Like, okay, are you directing? Are you starring? I don't think he's starring. Could be directing. I hope not. I hope we go a completely different direction, but what do I know? 2025. We're there. 3 years from now, folks. Two Avengers films. Could you imagine being in 2012 when one of these movies came out and you said, oh yeah, in 13 years we'll be getting 2 of them a year? Like, I would lose my mind and probably scream into my microphone. The first one, which I knew had to happen, you can't do Secret Wars without the Kang Dynasty. I'm sorry. You had to do Kang Dynasty first. That's a great title. They just announced that Destin Daniel Cretton's going to be directing, who did Shang-Chi. He's going to be making this Avengers film. What a great choice. That had some of the best action in any Marvel film of recent time. He's also a company man. So if you want to push him around a bit, he'll do it. He's also developing Wonder Man, apparently, and other Shang-Chi related shows on the television side. So yes, sounds good to me. I love Kang. Kang's one of my favorite characters in Marvel Comics as a villain. I love that he's going to get his own film. And then Secret Wars, look, this could be a speculation all day, and I think I might do a video talking about it eventually. I don't think Secret Wars is going to be the Doom and Reed version, where it's like Battle World, reshaped God, Emperor, Doom. It can't be. We haven't introduced either of those characters yet, and that movie's in 3 years, and that is their last story. Secret Wars, the Hickman Secret Wars, is the last story of the Marvel Universe. The 2 biggest dicks in the universe, Reed and Doom, respectively. It's their story about like how they should fix the world. You can't do that in an Avengers film, which is why this one's just going to be the classic one where we sold toys in the 80s. Mixed in with other ideas. I could see it being like a multiversal, because it's the multiverse saga, a multiversal Secret Wars where, hey, Toby's back. Hey, we got Hugh. Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds. And everyone comes in to just be a cameo and fight each other. I think that's going to happen. But it's not going to be like Doom ripping the spine out of Thanos one. It's not. It can't be. It won't be. It makes no sense. I feel like it could be the classic one, but Kang will take the place of the Beyonder, or maybe Kang knows the Beyonder, or Beyonder is a version of Kang that does it. That's just where it's going to be. Because Jonathan Majors is going to be powerful in these shows, and I can't wait to see what that's going to look like. But yeah, May is the Kang Dynasty. That one I'm excited for because that sounds like an actual movie, and the Secret Wars sounds like a marketing ploy like it did back in the 80s. Content won't die, baby. Just imagine the world after that. Imagine in 2032 when we have 4 Eternals movies in a year, and every other month is going to be an X-Men, Excalibur, blah, blah, blah. Content forever. The party don't stop till I walk in. Nothing ends. Nothing ends. That is literally the line in the Secret Wars they're not going to do. Everything ends. Nothing ends. It can't end. If it ends, we're not making money. We're a studio forever. We're a studio, okay? We're not just like something being made by Disney. Marvel Studios is its own studio. It's got its own legs. It will outlast every single actor in here. Oh. Content forever, baby. MCU forever. Secret Wars 2025. I'll see you there. Can you imagine if I'm still here doing this and then? I would love to be. But my goodness, will I be tired. So that's it. That's all the Comic-Con news. Couple of quick things. Nope is a fantastic film that not a lot of people got. That's really cool. The Jon Stewart animated Green Lantern movie, pretty bad. I'll be talking Paper Girls very soon. And content forever. Stay tuned for more content, but we're going over time anyways. Thanks, everybody. Out of all of those things, what I'm most excited for, the Star Trek characters coming back to Strange New Worlds. Sandman looked really good, and Prey. I cannot wait for Prey. I think that movie's going to be sweet. So thank you guys for watching this live episode of the Geek Beach. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck. See you in the next Comic-Con or the Disney thing, because that's next, actually.